Hey YouTube, and welcome to this episode of the Gunman. So this video here, I'll be giving you guys a bit of an insight into what it's like to be a spray painting apprentice. And I'll be including as many tips and tricks for success if you do decide to be an apprentice spray painter. Why would you want to get an apprenticeship as a spray painter? The pay's bad, it's dusty, it's a dirty environment, and it's hard work. Well, I'll cover all those things in this video. Start off, why do you get paid poorly? Because you're not worth anything. It's as simple as that. When you're a first year apprentice spray painter, you're really not worth any more than $10 an hour. And if you're getting $7 or $8 an hour, you should be happy for it. When you're the age at looking at getting an apprenticeship anyway, which is usually from 17 to 20, you shouldn't need much more than that anyway. I left home at the age of 17 and was able to live on $190 a week, which was only just over $5 an hour on my first year. I never complained and I actually enjoyed the work even as a first year apprentice. Now, what are the kind of things that you can expect to do as a first year apprentice from the very beginning? You'll be sweeping floors, you'll be doing lunch orders, and you'll be washing cars. If you're lucky, you'll get into the paint shop and you'll do some sanding, masking, priming, and maybe even a little bit of paintwork on the insides of panels. This is me yelling at the apprentice that we do have there, saying, why didn't you mask that up properly? I'm ready to prime. Another word of advice is to get the little things right. If you get told to sand a panel down, make sure you get that panel sanded down correctly, or else why would I let you prime it? If you've been given a daily list of tasks to do, like sweeping the floor, emptying the bins, doing the lunch orders, make sure you do that every single day and get those lunch orders right. It might sound like a little task, but if you can't get that right, how are you going to paint a car correctly? And until you can get each previous step right, I'm not going to let you in my spray booth anyway. Another common one is to see an apprentice slacking off, thinking that nobody's watching. Well, trust me, even if nobody is watching, they still aren't stupid. They know what you're doing, they know what you've done during that day. The boss didn't get to where they are by being stupid, they got there because they're smart and they know what's going on in their workshop. If you don't like the idea of working long days, doing repetitive tasks and doing hard work, well then maybe this is not the job for you. Personally, I believe spray painting is more of a skillful trade than a back-breaking labor trade. If you were to do some stuff like landscaping or even drillers offsiding, which is a job that I have done, that is physically demanding, whereas spray painting, I don't see most of the time it is very physically demanding at all. I see that it is a fairly safe trade as well, as long as you take the basic safety precautions like using your PPE and all that kind of stuff, which really is just general knowledge these days. It's taught to most apprentices in the West anyway. You should be pretty fine, and it's not like you're looked at being the pussy that's wearing his respirator or a pair of gloves, because it's just industry standard nowadays. This is another kind of job that you'll possibly be doing, and you'll possibly be doing it for the rest of your life. This is me at the age of 33, still cleaning spray booths out. Am I complaining? No, I actually don't mind it. I don't mind physical work. I enjoy this trade. I enjoy the kick that I can get out of making shit look good. I mean, sometimes I think to myself, I'm like, man, I've got the best job in the world. I love it. I love coming to work every morning. I love making stuff look good, you know? But make no mistake, this trade does take a lot of skill, and it is not easy by any means. It takes years and years and years of practice before I would class you as a good spray painter. Color matching is extremely important. Prep work is important. I believe that every stage is important as the next. And as I said before, get those little things right and you'll get the big things right later on. Time is on your side when you're doing an apprenticeship. Don't expect to be painting Mercedes, BMWs and Jaguars on a daily basis as a first year apprentice. Even though you may just think this is boring work by cleaning spray booths out, doing smoker orders, sweeping those floors, you are picking up lots of valuable information at the same time as doing that. And if a boss is yelling at you, there's generally a reason behind that. And if there's not, he's just an asshole, and get out of that shop and find another one. Big shop, small shop. I personally think you're better off in a big shop when you're an apprentice. That's the way I did it when I was an apprentice. I started at a smaller shop, and then I actually, after about 6 or 7 months, I moved to a bigger shop. I think that you get more of an opportunity in those bigger shops because there's a wider variety of jobs, and I worked in a shop that was sort of middle of the line. It wasn't prestige where you'd never really get the opportunity to paint a car. It was just your average everyday smash shop, and it's a good way to learn. With all the advancements in technology that this trade has seen, the fundamentals have always stayed the same. It's time consuming and it's very rewarding when done properly, but all it takes is one little mistake and everything will come crashing down. Not long after I'd turned a tradesman, so 4 years into doing this trade, doing it on a daily basis, and I just couldn't stop getting runs in my paintwork. It was a cold Melbourne winter and my methods just weren't working. I wanted to get out of the trade. I was looking at getting into another trade. I'm glad I stayed in it, but that's just an example of how up and down this trade can be. Okay, so I've let you guys know that at the start, yep, you're not going to be getting very much money at all through your entire apprenticeship, and most likely even just out of your apprenticeship, you're not going to be making that much money because you're still really not that good. You think you are, trust me. When you're 20, 21, 22, you just get out of your trade, you think you are God's gift to spray painting. Everyone does. I did. We all did. But I was told around 6 years, once you've been doing this trade for 6 years, that's when you really start getting good. And it's probably true. Like, you've had the experience with the color matching and with all the prep work, you've had just about everything go wrong that can go wrong. So you've figured ways to stop that from happening. This job here is a perfect example of this trade not being easy. And, you know, the owner had gone and spent thousands and thousands of dollars on getting this car painted. It was done by a tradesman, but a mediocre job was done at best. So it had to come in to get redone by the Gunman. This is actually a great trade for recessions. When a lot of the building industry will go down, you'll still see us guys in the paint and panel shops with loads of work, especially if you're good at what you do. Obviously, if you're good at what you do, you'll always have work, I guess, in just about any field. But because the majority of this trade works from smash repairs fed by insurance companies, there's usually, even if times are slow, people still have their insurance and they're still going to smash their cars. My grandpa was in this trade and that was one of his biggest sayings, is that people are always going to smash their cars. So if you're fresh out of school and you can't get into this trade and you've done all you can do, go back to the start. Just treat getting a job like a job. If you spend 8 hours a day door knocking all these different panel shops, make yourself look neat and presentable, put a bit of a resume together and be persistent. Don't take no for an answer. If there's one specific shop that you really want to get into, go back once a week and say, hey, have you got a job yet? Have you got a job yet? They may not necessarily give you the job there and then, but later on down the track, when they do need someone, you'll be front and center of mind and they'll think, hey, have we still got that kid's resume? We need an apprentice. If you go back far enough, getting a job in the motor trade used to be looked up upon, but it seems that public opinion these days has swayed towards the riffraff and the guys that sort of aren't smart enough to do IT. You know, oh, I dropped out of school and I got expelled. Well, you've got to go and get yourself a job as a spray painter or a panel beater. But basically this opinion and the fact that we've actually been flooded with a lot of fairly stupid people that aren't even that good at their job has actually made being a good spray painter or a good panel beater more sought after. So the pays are just going to be even better. This is from my experience and this is from Australia anyway. Now I can tell you that a good painter or a good panel beater will be earning over $100,000 in a year. There was one stage that I was earning $110,000 for 1 year. I left Melbourne for Perth in 2012. By the time I got to Perth, I had nothing but my XF Falcon, $500 in the bank, and my spray guns, and my trade. That was the most valuable thing out of all of them. By the time I left in 2016, I had $90,000 saved up and I'd been on easily 10 trips over to Thailand in between. After working as a driller's offsider in the mines for 12 months, people would always say, hey, you must have been making some really good money in the mines. But the truth of it was that back in Perth, using my trade as an automotive spray painter where I'd actually get to go home every night, I was actually making much more money and definitely enjoying it a lot more. Yes, there will be some bad times, but I would say that the good times definitely outweigh the bad times. I would definitely advise getting an apprenticeship in spray painting, not because you're dumb, not because you dropped out of school, because you like doing hands-on things. And when you're sitting in at school, you're always looking out the window. You don't like working behind a computer all day. You want to get out there and you want to paint some shit. You want to make some shit look good. There's definitely more than one sort of an avenue that you can go down when you're spray painting. You can get into the restoration, this kind of work. You can get into the custom side of things, or just your average everyday smash work. Personally, I actually prefer the everyday smash work, and I'm going to be getting back into a smash shop very soon. Stay tuned for all of those kind of cool videos. I have definitely enjoyed doing 12 months of mainly restoration, but it's actually made me realize that smash repairs is really where it's at for me. It's where I've got the passion, pumping about 4 or 5 jobs out every day, getting killer coin for it, and being able to save for a house, and then maybe one day be able to just take it easy a little bit and work on my own projects. Yes, this video was mainly aimed at the young guys thinking about getting into the trade, but I'm sure there's going to be loads of adults and tradesmen, because I know I've got quite a big DIY viewership. So anyone who thinks that they've got anything that they can add that I may have missed out on, chuck it down in the comment section down below. Make sure you do go to thegunman.net.au. These days I've been doing in-depth blogs with photos and full write-ups on my website. Make sure you check out the rest of my social media in the description down below. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and now you've seen this video, get out there and paint some shit. Thanks for watching. This has been another Gunman production. Goodbye.